That is working. Sure. Okay. Here we go. Anyway, peace, everybody. What's good with you? Everybody, for sure. So, this is movie Innerstandings, and it's me. Know what I'm talking about. Shalom, Sister Manera. What's good with you? You know what I'm talking about. I won't forget the day the sun came shining in. I'm sorry, I've been on that song for like the whole week. It be bumping. You know. Shining Congo. Straight from love to you too, Chief. What's good with you? Thank you. Thank you kindly. You know what I'm talking about? So we are continuing on with Shaka Zulu, and we are on 7 and 8. You know what I'm talking about? The rainbows of the Congo. Okay. So, you know, we got through 5 and 6, you know, with the ascension, you know, Shaka coming to the throne and whatnot, you know, and what he did after the, you know, before all that, you know, creating the strategies and military sciences and tactics, you know what I'm talking about, and, you know, seeing the struggles from adolescence and then on, you know, so now we come back to basically, you know, the present day in the TV series, which right now we're at Quad Boulevard in this February 1824, right? And you know, Finn, you know, is still narrating and observing, you know, that you know, Shaka's power was his security, you know what I'm talking about. And they're just, you know, feasting and partying, you know, talking and whatnot. And, you know, and then here come Gomani, which Gomani is, you know, is a good, you know, character, you know what I'm talking about, because he's the prime minister. And he comes with the, you know, logic, and he comes with the questions, you know what I'm talking about. So and just how he talks, you know what I'm talking about, you know, with his metaphors, especially, you know, the one at the start of this episode when he's like, you know, they are like monkeys trying to steal the autumn harvest, and yet you treat them like kings. Why, Ngozi? You know, I've always liked that line, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the truth. you know, if you know your colonizers, you know, they all like, but you try to steal the well, you know, you let you treat them like kings. That is a very valid question to be asking. You know what I'm saying? So, peace, Sister Kashia. You know what I'm saying? And he has every right to question them like that. And Shaka's like, you know, we have a lot to learn from Gomani. And he's like what? You know, it's like how many monkeys fight in their armies? What they really want from us. You know what I'm saying? And Shaka stands up and he's about to, you know, go out there and dance, you know what I'm talking about, and whatnot. And what I like about this scene is that you see Shaka, you know, dancing, but he's a little bit off rhythm. You know, he's like this king, but he's not like, you know, he's like, okay, you know, like he doesn't do it often. He doesn't, you know, get off of his throne to, just have a pretty much good time for himself or whatever. But this time, you see them getting it. I mean, they get it, and dancing and whatnot, and I guess the choreography in a sense, it's on point. You know what I'm talking about, and I've always liked it, and then you got, Pampata, she's following, behind them and whatnot, and whatnot, and they just getting it, and everybody just having a good time. Gamon's getting up like, yeah, we about to get it, son. Because it's not every day that you see him get up, and dance and whatnot. So, and as Shaka's dancing and whatnot, Dion, takes this moment, signal, his dissenters and the assassin, what I'm talking about, to go do it. So one of the Oompa Simba, who really wasn't an Oompa Simba, he was an imposter, but he goes in there, to do the work, while everybody is, basically dancing and not really paying attention. You know what I'm saying? He goes in, even Shaka's not, being aware of his surroundings. You know what I'm talking about? Shalom, Sister Deidre. And dude ends up stabbing him, with an ilquat. You know what I'm saying? And Shaka falls to the ground, and Papata's all crying and yelling and whatnot. And here you have, the Oompa Simba, they just come out and backs everybody up, you know what I'm talking about? And, they pick him up and bring him back to his crawl and whatnot. And, and as this chaos is happening because people are running around and yelling and whatnot, because of this assassination attempt, Kabai is seeing the whole thing. She got her eyes open, right? And she's paying attention, and she sees, what I'm talking about, that it's Dingan that's putting this together. And then as the commotion is coming up, she's like, Dingan is telling, Kapose and the other general, remember Sergeant Togo, to kill the assassin, right? And as Sister Kashia say, like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm talking about. But he says, kill that man. In the name of my ancestors, I order you to kill him. So instead of, Kaposa's like, we ain't about to do this, Dingan kills, the assassin. And he brings up that he's the king's brother and whatnot. But, and Kaposa's like, yeah, you are the king's brother, but you are also his heir. You know what I'm saying? And then they leave to go, handle some more business. But here comes Kabai, like, you may have destroyed the evidence, but you didn't, you didn't destroy your guilt. And if you really want to rule in Shaka's place, you would have planned it the way Shaka would have planned it, using a valiant strategy. He's built a nation of warriors. Where you have the people think, Ufa Simba will turn against his own emperor, and then he's like, this is the work of, this is the work of fate. As a man lives, so shall he die. And she's like, remember that, Dingan. You remember that. You know what I'm saying? Peace, Sister Moksha. She did. She had her eyes on him the whole time. But I mean, that's Mkabai. Nothing escapes her. You know what I'm talking about? Her eyes is always, basically watching for the hook. You know what I'm saying? she gonna she literally pays attention to everything, So as Shaka, basically, bleeding out pretty much. Nandy asks, can Finn save him like they did that girl, resurrect him and whatnot. And in even in English, he tries to explain, that that girl was in a coma or something, and that wouldn't happen if they wouldn't have to, try to do this. And Mr. Factor and whatnot. He was like, he doesn't understand that. He only understands light and darkness. He feel the darkness, coming upon him, and he needs you to bring it back to the light, and whatnot. And Finn's like, I hate to say this, but he had it coming to him. You know what I'm talking about? and Pharaoh's like, what? You know what I'm saying? And but like, let me tell you something, Finn, Shaka's army without Shaka is more dangerous than we've ever dreamed. That's a greater threat. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, we control Shaka's soul. We control the whole of Southern Africa. Talk about it. A good line, but typical colonial talk. If you understand, the beauty about these episodes, you get to run down your colonial playbook. You know what I'm saying? It's there, verbatim, if you know what to look. And if you're here, you'll be like, yep, that's page 9, section C. Yep, that. And that's what Farewell's doing, you know what I'm saying? And then, Finn's like, we don't have that much time, and that man, is coughing up blood and phlegm, which indicates a punctured lung. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot, But I always liked that because, every time I saw a movie and I saw a person, coughing up blood and phlegm, I'd be like, punch your lung. Yeah. That was the good thing about that part. And then they go to Cape Town, right? And one of the military messengers for the governor tells the governor about Shaka's assassination, and they think he's dead. You know what I'm saying? And the governor's like, that's good. You know what I'm saying? Okay, call the general and tell him to come back to the Cape. You know what I'm saying? And the officer's like, the military officer, I just say it like that. He's like, don't you think that's rather hasty, sir? And he's like, the governor's like, Shaka was a fluke. You know what I'm saying? The natives will revert back to their natural state of sniveling old women. That's also in your, colonial handbook. You know what I'm saying? Make the, make the indigenous be seen or have the stereotype of cowarding, being cowardly or whatever, It did the same thing with Jack Johnson, Until he started knocking about, with a smile on his face, showing all them gold teeth. But hey, that's that yellow streak, but it's there, we're supposed to be cowardly, you know what I'm talking about. That goes on for centuries, past this point, you know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying. And so after that, you know what I'm saying, they're outside the crawling. There's just this chaos, dead bodies everywhere and pale people everywhere, you know what I'm talking about. And the gun is acting like, he the head honcho in charge and whatnot, and you can see that he's the start of the chaos, you know what I'm saying? But he's just looking for an excuse to kill the white boys, which that was part of, Zuidi's plan anyway. But Dingan questions about Shaka's health to Finn, and Finn's like, he's stationary right now. And Dingan's like, I hope you tell him the truth. And, he's not dead, in his cross, because if he is, you know what I'm saying, if you're hiding the truth and you're lying, you know what I'm saying, your body's going to prepare the carcasses, cushion carcasses for Shaka's grave or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, I'll return, at sunset to be further informed. You know what I'm saying? He acts like the Karen brother, but I'm like, bruh, y'all didn't grow up together. You know what I'm talking about? It's funny. You know what I'm saying? But I will also say this, in real life, this wasn't the only attempt on Shaka's life in real life. He had many attempts, many death attempts on his life. I don't know how many, but there have been a couple. You know what I'm saying? But after that, you know what I'm talking about. Finn, really tells Farewell and them how he's doing. He's like, he's dying, Francis. You know what I'm saying? Um, and he's like, if this fever don't break, I doubt he'll make sundown. And he's like, well, Farewell's like, well, we got to give him a helping hand. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? And even composing Gamana, it's like, it's been too long. The people need to see Shaka. You know what I'm saying? And Finn's like, Francis, the man is dying. You know what I'm saying? He can't even stand up, let alone walk to the gate. And Pharaoh's like, man, we gonna help him out. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. And so, we go back to Cape Town and we see, Farewell's wife, Elizabeth, seeing the governor, and she's told, that her husband never made it to, Natal or whatever. And she's like, you got one measly report that tells you, Shaka's dead, and you believe it. You know what I'm saying? And, you can see that the governor is not, really enthusiastic about, Farewell's mission anyway, and he wasn't really trying to help. But if you peep, and he says, if you need anything, at all, I'll help you out on your way back to England or whatnot. But you could tell that he tried to holler at his wife, like, for real, son. He's like, Mrs. Farewell, anything at all, you trying to shoot your shot, bro. I'll just go, for sure. Peace, Ding Dong Jr. You know what I'm talking about, and whatnot, and she leaves, and then she runs into the editor of a newspaper called Mr. Simpson, and he wants to talk about her husband, but she's standoffish about it because he wrote a piece about him like it's a gossip column, what I'm talking about, and he wants to talk to her about writing a eulogy, that places Farewell in a better light, but he's like, I don't think I'll need it because you don't think he's dead. You know what I'm talking about? And she's like, I'm not about to help you out. And like she say, her husband's old news. You know what I'm saying? She drives away in her little carriage or whatnot. And so after that, Farewell and company, they try to help Shaka, walk and whatnot and whatnot. But before they do that, and he's still lying down, they bandage him up, and Farewell puts hair dye in his hair, and he's like an added touch for show. That's also part of the colonial handbook. I just want y'all to know that, that's also part of the colonial handbook, what I'm talking about. And so, after that, they lift him up, what I'm saying? And, they get him pretty much all the way, to the gate, and then they say, now you're on your own. And they start, they take him off his off their shoulders, and he walks on his own, and everybody, they see him and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, you got the criers, talking, doing what they normally do, talking about his exploits and whatnot, and then everybody, celebrating and whatnot, and he gets up to the, basically the throne platform, and lifts up his spear and whatnot, and then you see Dingon and the other brother Wimshalom, right? They like, he's alive. You know what I'm saying? They look at each other and you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they were heard about like birdies. We ain't gonna talk about that. But then all of a sudden, they look back at each other and they're like, we got all of a sudden you see dang on, then God get up and start dancing like he was on his side the whole time, you know what I'm talking about? And he gets everybody in line. He like the head drum major. You know what I'm talking about? You be ready for him to just get out of the field like and he gets everybody, you know, doing the salutations and whatnot, and he's the loudest one saying, "By you know, he with the quickness of Kashir, and he got everybody, you know, in line, right? Just yelling like he's been day one the whole time, like for real, like he acting like he been day one, you know, the day one chili the whole time, like, you know that ain't true. But yeah, right. And then he was shook. You know, Sister Deidre, he was shook, but he knew how to play it off real well. You know. Yeah, that is a traitor for you. You know, when things go south, be the biggest, be the biggest cheerleader. You know, you can be to not arise suspicion. Yeah, that. See how good this is, though. And then after that, you know, one thing that is said, as all of this is going down, Finn is like, all he needed was a dose of power. You know what I'm saying? And then I always like that line, you know what I'm saying? And then the other one is, you know, when Pharaoh was like, you know, the empires he's built was in his imagination before it became reality. You know what I'm saying? You know, because they could see his greatness in that moment or whatever. And was on. Dan was on. And after that, you know, we get away from that scene, and it comes in Kabai once again. She like, can she speak? She got something to say. You know, she's like, I know who had that attempt on your life. And Shaka's like, go on. You know, and then she hands it off to Big Eye, you know, real cool, like, but it's totally Inkabai, right? She's like, perhaps my brother's son would like to tell you. You know what I'm saying? And then here comes Dingon, and he, you know, he tells him that it's Zweety and other Ndwanways, you know, who had this attempt on his life. Don't get up there. No, I ain't about to get up. I just had to stand up for a minute. And so after that, right? Shaka questions like, how do you know, this attempt was now, you know, the makings, you know, from somebody in my own camp. You know what I'm saying? You, for instance. And here we go. I would say that this, you know, this whole series use stock footage over and over again pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Because you see the same thing more than once. But he says, we should have same blood influences. Few men knows you as well as I. It's like, bruh, you did not grow up together. We may share the same blood and whatnot, but we may be kin, but bruh, I didn't grow up with you. You know, I was the only, well, I only had my sister. You know what I'm saying? We know this, but I only had my sister, you know, that really know me. You know, I had to leave in order for you to be born. You know what I'm saying? For all y'all to be born, pretty much. But yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that. But yeah, that's what he acts like. You know what I'm saying? Like we're bonded, bro. Like me and you are day ones. Like, bro, stop. You know what I'm saying? But Shaka, you know, they leave out the crawl, and Shaka, you know, calls Gomana, and he says, Gomana, I want you to choose, you know, 10 of those assembly and have them impaled for all to see. Even if, right, you know, that guy, that assassin was an imposter. They should have realized that first before anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Before the deed was done. And Gomana is trying to basically plead. He said men are often blind, they error, you know what I'm saying? And then he says, as you are blind, when it comes to your half brother. Basically saying it's Dingana that did it. He was like, but I know it's Dingana. Shaka says, I know it's him. I've known him since the time of the stabbing. You know what I'm saying? But I need him now more than ever. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to attract all the dissenters in my camp. Like dung to flies, And when it's time for them to strike again, I'll be ready for them. You know what I'm saying? But it's Unkabai. That surprises me. And I like that line because he's like, Dingan doesn't surprise me. It's Kabai that surprises me. You know what I'm saying? Because she's always been in his camp. Now, that's the day one. You know what I'm saying? But she's always had her own, her own reason for supporting Shaka or saving his life. But that one surprises him the most. You know what I'm talking about? And whatnot. And honestly, hey, clipping, executing 10 on for Simba. Hey man, they should have realized it. It's a bit harsh, but I mean, hey, bet you won't mess up like that no more. Like, did you see what happened to the 10 guys that they got hemmed up on the assassination camp last time? Man, we gotta be on our square. I'm not about to be impaled. You ain't not about to burst my lungs open. Hey, be aware of the surroundings all the time. We gonna be real Secret Service, like for real, son. We gonna have shades and everything. We gonna be touching Shaka like red leader, blue leader. Package is safe and secure. Okay. You know what I'm talking about. But it's, hey, but you know what? That execution sends a message. You know what I'm talking about. Don't mess up. And speaks to how Shaka is. Shoot, he was harsh on his own, on his own soldiers. His personal bodyguards, he gonna be 10 times as tough, because they, they are in charge of his security. Of course, he got to send a message, It is what it is, you know what I'm talking about? And so after that, you know what I'm saying, Shaka finds he's laying down and then he looks in Finn's medical bag, and then he finds Finn's Bible. He finds the good book. And he looks through it, and then he sends for Finn, and he's like, who is this? You know what I'm saying? And Finn tells him, it's a king. And he's like, Georgie, King George IV. And he's like, no, that's the King of Kings. You know what I'm saying? And he's telling him about Christ and whatnot, and how Christ, end up getting crucified. I mean, we know the story, but, he's explaining it, to a person that's never heard of Christ or whatever. Which, hey, we go at that. Hey, that's in your colonial handbook. That's probably you built. Hey, missionary work. We know this. We know this. We know this better than some. So yeah, that's part of the colonial handbook. Very that got its own chapter. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. So. He tells them about how Christ was betrayed by those who love, and then Shaka, so philosophical. He's like, yes, it's a mistake to love, especially for a king. You know what I'm saying? And then they go on, to talk about Christ a little bit more, and and like he said, Christ is greater than George and Shaka, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, with Christ in your heart, you're stronger than all the regiments in the world, you know what I'm talking about? But Shaka says lie, because they talking about it, I'm talking about it. And I love when he says this lie because it's so us. The ways of you whites are dark mystery. That is like a cool lie to say if you first meet them, this is your first contact situation, and you just like the ways of you whites are dark mystery. you know, you can't make that up. That's just a cool line if you ask me. And so Shaka thinks, because Umkabai, no, not Umkabai, but Satai. Satai also questions, if Christ had to die, why didn't he save himself and whatnot? And then Shaka says, he thinks that Christ had to die to give so the power can be handed down, to Shaka. Heavens belong to Zulu. He says it. Heavens belong to Zulu, and Shaka is their son. You know what I'm saying? And they go on, also, because there's Finn, and then there's Zacharias, Abraham. He's there, and also Zacharias. He's a Khazar. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't believe that Jesus is divine and God and whatnot. And so they go back and forth, and Shaka's trying to get it. So he's like, so y'all come from different tribes, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, Jesus comes from Finn's tribe, and he's like, no, he comes from his tribe. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot, which is weird. And then Abraham tries to back him up, saying, Jesus, was very magical or whatever, and had great power and is power, whatever. And he thinks that he was given rejuvenated youth back. He thought he was giving back his youth. You know what I'm saying? And as Finn is leaving a crawl with Abraham or whatnot, he's trying to, Abraham saying, it doesn't surprise me. He's trying to rationalize it, putting them inside the story. And then he's like, I'm not surprised, you find, Zulu work him in sort of, a genealogy type of chart, you know what I'm saying? And whatnot. And then Finn's like, did he just say youth? You know what I'm saying? Then he goes to Farewell and tell Farewell about it. He's like, you're out of touch for sure. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. He's like, he thinks that we rejuvenated him physiologically, not just spiritually. And so after that, this is a pretty cool thing. And let me just say, let's just have a time to put some respect on the costume design once again, because I tell you this, there's not a lot of clothing, in this series, but I tell you this, Nandy and Kabaya are always on fleek. I'm just saying, they look good no matter what. They stay looking good. You never see them look down, look bad. In any scene they in, they are banging, they are on fleek every dang on time you see them. You know what I'm talking about. So let's just take exactly. They are always looking good. I mean, just royal and regal, and just coming out outdoors swinging. You know what I'm talking about. They are never there's a lesson right there. There's a lesson right there. For even if you're an old woman, you can always look on fleek. I mean, shoot, my great grandmother, she was always a sharp dresser, my great grandmother, and we used to always, Christian background, used to always keep her up in hats. And at that time, we used to go to the neighborhood, and we knew this lady that made custom hats. Man, we used to give my grandmama and my great grandmama custom hats. I remember that one time, man, and they was looking like some bad bosses one Sunday, man, because they came up from this, man. You didn't want the best, but they looked like some dang bosses, man. They were looking old on point, every time you did not see them women dressed down. And they always, and one thing I can always say, I don't know if nobody paid attention, but I remember one time my grandmother and her sisters was talking about, female upkeep, and I happened to be in the room one time, I'm talking about, and they would, and it had to do with pregnancy and how get ready to stretch marks and whatnot, and and they were talking to the young women, but I don't think they were paying attention. I was like, and then my grandmother gave a picture of herself, and she was like, "That's me after 5 years." Look, I could not believe that was my dang old grandma. I was like, "Grandmama, you tall, you short." You look taller in this picture. But she was like, man, always be on point. Never let them see you on point. You know what I'm saying? So let that be a lesson. Learn from Daddy and then combine. You ain't never too old to stay on point. You know what I'm talking about? Learn about that. I guess as you get older, you get that final womanhood or whatever, final manhood to where you always stay on point. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it is. The older you get, the sharper you get, I guess. Nothing. So after that, that's right. So, and then, at this part, I like this part. Nandy's getting the hair dye, and Ben's doing her hair and whatnot, and you got Pompata just singing, she got a nice ass. Well, she got a nice voice. And the lady's just singing and whatnot, and she's just looking in the mirror and whatnot, and you see Shaka just smiling like he's just proud of his mama and whatnot. It's just a cool scene, right? But then after that, we get this scene. Farewell draws up a contract and, pronounces it, or what it says, it's a contract that says they, the British, basically, or Farewell and Company, sort of like the East Indian Company. Like I say, part of the colonial handbook, but it's about giving them the coastal land of the tall. You know what I'm saying? And they got everything in there, like ivory and minerals and all that. They'll own it now. You know what I'm saying? And it's November 7th, 1824, right? And Shaka signs the contract, but he signs it, in English, in his own name. And he calls up Gamani. Gamani does a signature, but he's reminded of what he told Shaka. And so is Kaposa. And Kaposa look like he don't even want to sign this. He slams it down. She's like, and then Shaka's like, look at these men, from now on, you give them respect due to kings. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. And so, we see, Port Natal is being established, and you got, Farewell and them singing God Save the King. Yes, I know the song because it sounds like something we all know. My country, tears of three. Hey, we know the song. Now you see where you get it from. Which brings the question: was this really an independent, or is it still? Anyway, that's for another time. But after that, they running that business. You know what I'm talking about? They hunting elephants, collecting ivory and whatnot. But they like, man, the men are getting sour because they like, man, we want to go home. We want to leave. You know what I'm saying? And Farewell's like, how far you think we'll get if we don't get this help? You know what I'm talking about? And whatnot. And as they having this discussion, because they trying to figure out, when you can't really tell them that they got to leave or whatever, or drop or build a ship so they can leave. You know what I'm saying? Here comes Capozzi with a regiment. They running up telling, Farewell and Finn that the king wants to see him. But they have new names, Farewell's called Febana, and Finn is called Umboazi. That name's going to be important. Not for Finn, though. Not for Finn. But it goes to Seswai. We'll talk about that later. But that name is important. That name is important in a sense. You know what I'm talking about. So they took a proposal, we'll leave for Quabulawai, as soon as possible, but they, by sundown pretty much. And Cole was like, no one keeps the great elephant waiting, he and then they're like, we'll leave as soon as we can. And Capozzi and the regiment, run and leave, as they do. And the guys ask some questions, what do we do when the hair dye really runs out? You know what I'm talking about? And then Finn's like, oh, we'll be back in Cape Town by then. Ain't that right? No, farewell. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Seems like each party had a different understanding of the rules of the contract. I think Shaka was still showing his power with his army. Like, this right here is still mine. Well, yeah. But see, Colonial Handbook. Colonial Handbook. Fine print. What I mean about something in writing or in thought is not what you mean. You know what I'm saying? It's not your cultural meaning on things. We see that all throughout history. We need not look, any further than where we are right now. Shoot, look at the state you're probably in and see how, the colonial people, the colonists that were here, how they get that land. You know what I'm talking about? And whatnot. You know what I'm saying? How did they finagle their way into getting it? You know what I'm saying? Did they have to trade, 35 cents or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Did they have to, go to war for it? You know what I'm saying? Did they lie? Did they cheat? Did they steal? Whatever. But you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to look no further than the whole Christ, argument. That meant something totally different than what Shaka was talking about. Just like that contract meant something totally different. And they knew it. They know, they knew Shaka didn't know what he was signing off. What is it about us or them? You know what I'm saying? And not just us, but everybody. We always are willing to give up the land. I mean, like, and nobody has the forethought of thinking like, okay, these people want this land. Something's there. And that's what they want. What is it that they want? You know what I'm saying? And why do they want it so badly? Because it's something that they want, you know what I'm talking about, or whatever. Exactly. 360. Bad record deal. 360. You know what I'm saying? Read the fine print. You know what I'm talking about. But, that's the end of episode 7. You know what I'm talking about. But hey, it tells you a lot in that in that episode. You know what I'm saying? Even with that bad contract, man. I mean, like, real. But this is Shaka we talking about, though. This is Shaka we talking about. Right? And so we're on episode 8, right? And so we're at Quabalawa, right? And Shaka talks about Christ again, and how Christ didn't have the foresight of a great leader, and that's why his people, betrayed him. You know what I'm saying? And so he talks of, the Zulus and the whites living together in harmony. What can I say? We've all had that. Well, we hey, but yeah, but it's sort of like, man, you know somebody's met these people before, right? And they've known what they do, you know. And people talk. You would have some inklings, like on what they do, and their real character. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? It's like, yeah, but yeah, he's like, we should be able to live together in harmony. And then he tells them that this is how we're gonna do it. We gonna give a council of elders. Basically, eternal God. He says eternal youth, so that the nation will live forever. Be eternal or whatever. And so then Shaka says, that I'm glad we are here, talk about living together in harmony and whatnot, because I'm going to need your help on fighting against the Ndwanwes and Zwedi. And Farewell's like, hold up, Shaka. His Majesty King George, doesn't allow his subjects, to fight other countries' wars, or get into disputes with, or war disputes with other countries. It's like like that's ball face lie. We know this. You know what I'm saying? We know this. Like, bruh. It's 1824. You already, I mean, come on. French and Indian War. I mean, like, bruh. Let's not go there. I mean, we all around the world. All around the world. Y'all, bruh. This is the British, this is the British Empire we're talking about. That's all y'all do. That's all y'all get what y'all want. But we don't do it. Come on, bro. Come on. But we know this. We know this. They don't know it, but we do. And by that, I mean the Zulus. Apparently, they don't know. It's 1824. Think about it. It's 1824. We know what we were doing. You tell me nobody didn't talk about that. I'm just saying, about these, whatever, but there had to be talks. And even down south, maybe, supposedly. But it is what it is. So, Shaka's like, well, you remember our agreement, you're still my chieftain, saying, with that land I gave you, you're still my chieftain, and you still owe your loyalty to me as well as George. So you wish to go back on your word? You wish to renege, bro? And then he's like, can a man serve two masters? And then Shaka's like, nothing is impossible. No, two people really want to live together in harmony. He's throwing back his own words. That's good statesmanship, good politics right there. You know what I'm saying? He's playing the Game of Thrones real well in that aspect. He's playing the Game of Thrones real in that aspect. You know what I'm talking about? That's how you get him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you think you got you think you gotta be a dumb 360 deal? Contract. You like Huey in that aspect. Contract. You know, you under me too, bro. But anyway. And so you know, after that, Shaka counts his past with Zweedy to Finn, you know, and Finn is writing it down because now, you know, Shaka understands, you know, what, you know, the written word really stands for and whatnot. And so you know, he talks about them. And you know, Zweedy and then Doanways, you know, they some northern boys, you know what I'm talking about it. And you know, they doing what they do up north, you know, taking out, you know, tribes and whatnot, bringing them under the fold of the Andoran ways and whatnot. And why they control the north, you know, Dingus Wayo at this time, he's controlling the south. Now, mind you, I know it doesn't go into it, but you got to understand that even though Shaka is a general, he's still the king of the Zulus at this point. You know, at this time, he's still the king of the Zulus. But like I say, he's still part of the Mtweta Confederacy. But he's the king of the Zulus now. That's his camp. But it's all under one fold. You know what I'm talking about? You see that Confederacy right there? It's just like the Iroquois Confederacy. You know, the First Nation, you know, you got the Mohawk, the Onondaga, you know, the Seneca, you know, they're all, you know, different tribes, but they under that longhouse, you know what I'm talking about. Up in the north. You know what I'm talking about. But it's just like that. You know, in a sense, you know what I'm talking about. You know, that Confederacy, if you need an example. But you know, and so basically, at this time, you know what I'm saying, you see Zweedy talking with his mama about this whole issue, and there's a guy and his father who was just a defeated tribe. Finn calls them into the Katsu, and but Shaka's always calling him something differently, Lithuli or whatever, and you know, he's with his father, and they're captured, and then you know, they kill his father. You know, Zweedy's mother, you know, Umdambazi kills his father and whatnot. And you know, after that, Shaka and Dingus Wayu are having an argument. You know, cause you know, Shaka is, you know, taking over, you know, doing what he do. He's taking over, you know, other tribes with the, you know, with the army and whatnot. You know, people that done, you know, messed over his family and whatnot. And my name is Precious. Sorry, just saying that. And you know, he doing what he doing in the South, you know what I'm saying? And Dingus Wayu is upset. He's like, man, I you know, when I spoke of this nation, you know, I was talking about subjugation, not destruction, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I wanted peace, not total war. And Shaka's like, nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's not how we doing this. You know what I'm saying? That's not how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Total war. You know, he's like total war to anybody that straight up ain't getting down with us. You know what I'm saying? Total war for everybody. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna destroy them, destroy the chief that ain't getting down with us, and then we bring them under the fold. You know what I'm saying? And then he says, never leave an enemy behind or rise again to fire at your throat, you know. And you know, Dingus Wayu's like, you know, because Shaka, you know, is really showing his you know, his you know, his child rearing in the sense with his ideology, and Dingus Wayu's like, man, we got to have faith, Shaka. He's like, in what? You know, he said, in the common man, you know, reason. You know what I'm saying? You know, the you know, the faith that a man can make his, you know, make his own thoughts in his own way or whatever. You know, that's Dingus Wayu's way, you know. And then Shaka's like, you know, Zweedy, you know, is building up his, his chiefdom up in the north and whatnot, and he's making up, new military tactics, which I feel are probably more effective than ours. And he, only got one aim: is destroy your paramountcy and everything you built. And he ain't gonna do that with faith and reason. But if you feel like, I done overstayed my welcome, then I offer my resignation. You know what I'm saying? And then he puts on his headdress and he says Bayette and he leaves, you know what I'm saying? And then his wife's like, we can't accept that. Our very survival, you know what I'm saying, is based on his method. And he sends Gomani out there and asks him what he wants. And so Gomani does that. And he's like, Shaka, basically, what's going on, you know what I'm saying? And what do you want? And, and he's like, this really is survival for us. And, Sweetie wants our blood and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And everything. And what he wants, you know what I'm saying, is complete control of the armed forces. You know what I'm saying? He want to be literally commander in chief, and he's like, but that would give you complete control of the state, without no interference from Dingaswai or the council. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, Zwidi wants our blood, not our humanity. And he's right. You know what I'm saying? He knew what he was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? So he goes about his way and whatnot. And then we see Zwedi's mom doing a ritual on Umsulakatsi. And and it's going back and forth, right? And so Shaka gets what he wants. Gamani tells him, yeah, you got complete control, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then we go back to Zwedi's mom, Umdumbazi, and you see that the ritual that she's doing on the Katsi is basically drinking his blood so she can basically enter the mind or the body of the royal maid, and Toto maid for Dingus Wayu and whatnot. And the maiden goes in and feeds Dingus Wayu, and then all of a sudden, you see Umdabazi, she got the knife and, cuts off Dingus Wayu's head, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot, and, and whatnot. And so, that knocks her out or whatever. She's basically, in a trance at that point. And while that's happening, Umsa the Katsi, he's escaping, you know what I'm saying? He ends up escaping, the Ndwande crawl and whatnot. And then, as he escapes and whatnot, we get to one of my favorite, that I used to rewind this part all the time. Notice I said rewind, right? That's how long it's been. I used to rewind this part all the time because this Pampata is singing again. And Pampata is singing, and it's a good song. It's a good song. But she is singing the Shaka, right? They getting up and dancing, she looking all good and whatnot. Got the girls in the background singing, I'm talking about. They get it. Like, that's why I used to always ride this scene all the time. You know what I'm saying? Look, Shaka all smiles and whatnot. He's like, yeah, she's good. You know what I'm saying? As they, breaking bread and whatnot, but she's singing and whatnot. But the song is cut short. I gotta listen to that song for at least another minute or so. But Umsakasi comes, to the military crawl that they're at, with troops. And he's like, I bring you news of Sweden. And then he finds out, that Zweden has 25,000 troops. You know what I'm saying? And he asks, why are you doing this? And he says, because they killed my father. And he's like, and you were close to him. He was like, very. And I guess Shaka sees, that, all fathers, are not like his, you know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't, close to his father, but he meets a guy that was actually close to his father and very close to his father. He snitching, but he ain't with them no way, you know what I'm saying? So he ain't really snitching, but it's just a way to say, yeah, he's telling, them suetos, there's, he's being an informant or a spy, whatever you want to call him, but he don't owe no loyalty to the Ndwan way, so he cool. You know what I'm saying? And so after that, that's when we see, basically, Mdabazi is, got the head of, Dingus Wayu, and, she got more than one, you know what I'm saying? And they're the head of kings, and, she's, in her, Evelyn, that's her Evelyn, mode where she's like, what will your paramountcy do now? Now that you're dead, because they ain't gonna understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They can't grasp this. What happened? You know what I'm saying? She's basically giving up pat on the back for the work that she done did and whatnot. And this is when Shaka and them find out about Dingus Wayu's death and whatnot, and he calls up Msukatsi, and he's like, it was Queen Mdabazi, Zuidi's mom, that did this, because they in the crawl, because nobody will go in, and they're in the crawl, and they see, his head's been decapitated from his body, and it's still, he's still laying there. Nobody's touched his body at all, and Gomani's trying to explain the situation on what they said had happened. You know what I'm saying? They said nobody went in, or came out, and nobody's seen him but his royal maidservant. And he's like, I don't think a woman has that much strength to do what's been done. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, so what are you saying? You know what I'm saying? They lying, He's like, they are lying. You know what I'm saying? And you saying what? This is witchcraft? And he's like, nah, Shaka. The guys that were guarding them were your men. You trained them. You know what I'm saying? They still lying. This ain't no witchcraft. Which, he's like a symbol to people. We gonna have this, cut this out now, because people are scared to come in the crawl, even to bury Dingus Wayu. They don't even want to touch his body. You know what I'm saying? So this is becoming a problem. And Shaka's like, man, some of the people, we gonna handle this. You know what I'm talking about? And I like this little part, because when Shaka comes out, you got the criers, but they're not, Shaka's cries, but they basically are the cries, and they're zebras, they got the looks of zebras. It's just a cute thing, you know what I'm saying? I always like that part. And they come out, and then he's like, we must avenge his death. You know what I'm saying? The people, the royal maid and the guards that was guarding the king had already confessed, to the crime. And let there be no more talk of witchcraft, because he's like, witchcraft, and he spits, you know what I'm saying, showing disrespect to witchcraft, which I know it's foreshadowed, but, Satai warned him about that. But he's always had that, Satai warned him, but it's in the future, but still, she know. You've always had a disdain for, so-called spiritual forces. We'll just say it like that. The spiritual arm of our people. You can't keep on doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't for that spiritual arm, you would not be alive. But she doesn't say that. But we can tell as the viewer. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, after that, we get the battle between the first battle between Shaka and Zwidi. You know what I'm saying? And Shaka straight washes him. You know what I'm saying? And goes even to the Ndwan way, crawl and invade. You know what I'm talking about? And you know, Zweety ain't there, but his mother is. And so in Sudakatsi, he burns her alive. You know what I'm saying? But Zweety escaped, only to fight back again. And then, it's Shaka's words, that he told in the Swayu at that time: never leave an enemy behind, or arise again to flag your throne. It goes back into his own head because he didn't clip, Zweety when he had the chance, you know what I'm saying? And now we getting into, Zweety and Shaka, round two, you know what I'm talking about now. They're at this gorge or valley. You know what I'm saying? I like this battle for the simple fact that it's you basically see the regiments and whatnot. It's not an up close battle. You know what I'm saying? You actually get the lay of the land and whatnot. And Shaka sees, the battlefield, and he's like, Zweety, has chosen a good, battlefield this day. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody that goes into that, basically that valley first, it's a trap. You know what I'm saying? Shaka knows it. You know what I'm saying? So he got an idea. And so he tells, Farewell and them, right? Y'all gonna go in and fight the Ndwamwes. You know what I'm saying? And lure them into their own trap. And we will cover you. It's like, how are y'all gonna cover? Y'all ain't got no bows. Y'all ain't got no arrows. I mean, where's the cover? But they like, they like, what? we going in there. You are sitting us side up. You know what I'm talking about? But he's like, if your, Mbawazi or Finn, he said that, with Christ in your heart, you're stronger than all the regiments on earth. So this would be no problem for you. And if your guy wants to, be the king of the Zulus, he must earn it. He must earn it as I have. You know what I'm saying? That's what Shaka tells him. And Farewell he's like, it's true, but he got to look like he lied. He like, and then he looks at Finn, he's like, bro, did you tell him that? He's like, yeah. And he's like, you want to choke Finn, like, bro. Why you keep on getting us in this situation? You know what I'm talking about? Like, I want to choke the mess out of you, but I can't find you. And he's like, who taught you your scripture? And then Finn says, a father at Sutton County, at a school, Catholic school in Dublin. You know what I'm saying? Which Finn is Irish. You know what I'm saying? Because there's one part in the scene where in the series that Farewell says, your pessimism is not quite British, and Finn's like, why would it be? I'm Irish. You know what I'm saying? And if you know what the British did to Ireland at this, at this point in time, you can understand. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, he's Irish. And he's like, who taught you your scripture? He's like, well, blast him. You got us into this mess again. You always getting us. He's like, man, you always getting us into something, man. Dang. I can't say what I want to say, but you always getting into something, bro. Like, for real. And they go down into the, into the gorge, I would say. And Farewell's coming up with a battle strategy. He tells, Danino and them to go up the hill, half a pace up or whatever, half up, and basically shoot from that level, have a rifle party, at the base of the gorge, you know what I'm saying? And then, two snipers, in the backfield with Shaka in them, right? We just gonna call them snipers because that's the only way I can explain it. And so Zweety and them, they like, hey, send them down there. The regiments come down and then they get the shooting. You know what I'm saying? And then Dewan Ways, they get shot and then they, retreat. And then Zweety's like sending more men. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. And they fend them back, by shooting them. They keep on shooting them, right? They keep on shooting them. And then Zweety's like, send in more men. And as more men is coming, and then they seem like they're about to get overrun, Farewell fires the cannon. And then, the cannon, scares them off. And then Zweety's like, send in more men. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we ain't going to change the battle strategy. We just going to send in more men, huh? It's just like... And so, once again, they get close. And then Farewell, fires the cannon. Small cannon though. I can't say what poundage it is, but it's a small little cannon that you will probably have on the ship. And so what's interesting is you don't see the carnage that a cannonball does, which would have been cool, but I mean this is base. Or if they had different type of cannon shot, like you got your typical cannonball, but then you got your cluster. I would say cluster rounds. That you put in the cannon, and then it sprays everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because it's little mini balls, and shoot you up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like that. But what's up with your ricochet? And so after that, Fair was like, tilt the cannon up 60 degrees. And then he fires it, and then he sees that, cannon fire, basically, hits the reserve regiments. And so he's like, what kind of magic is that helps them, reach these distances and whatever. You know what I'm saying? He don't understand. And he's like, send in all regiments and whatnot. And then that's when Shaka, says, give the order to attack. But then, Kapose is like, hey, Shaka, we be coming in there, we'll be like, vultures, you know what I'm saying? Just eating up the scraps. And Shaka's like, I said attack. You know what I'm saying? Because all during this battle, you know what I'm saying, Kapose is questioning the whites, you know what I'm saying, in their battle strategy. You know what I'm talking about? He's questioning it all. You know what I'm saying? They look at him, you know what I'm saying? But he's questioning it all, you know what I'm saying? And they go in, and the Zulus come down, mopping up, straight washing the dang on Ndwanos. Once again, too easy, right? And so after that, you know what I'm saying, they got the, they straight route the Ndwanos, but then you see Kapose dies, in battle. You know what I'm saying? Because he's, basically fighting off, 3-1, 3 guys at one time, and one, stabs him in the back. So, hey, that was a sad part of the movie because he was cool. You know what I'm saying? But he dies, and the Zulus win the battle, and they end up capturing Zweety, and they put him in front of the cannon, right? And Shaka tilts the cannon like, that's about right. And then he tells Farewell, hey, give it fire. And then Finn is like, we'll not be your executioners, Baba. And he's like, and those dead, in what name did they die for? Was it that big? No. And who sent you into this gorge? You know what I'm saying? Was it that? Was it me or your Christ? Real shrewd at this point. He's just being shrewd. And they fire the cannon, and that's how Sweetie ends up dead. You know what I'm saying? Death by cannon fire. They his body was destroyed. And I just like how Shaka just straight logic bombs him. He just keep on coming with it. You know what I'm saying? With the logic. He's like, man, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And just being cunning. So cunning. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you gotta be. Let that be a lesson. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a first contact situation, be shrewd and cunning against the opposing force that's coming to meet you. Apparently, you know what I'm talking about. And so, it's composer's funeral. It's a sad time. You know what I'm talking about. And they bury him. And then victory party. After that, we see the victory party, right? But Shaka's not outside. He's back in his crawl. Everybody's partying and whatnot, but he's in his crawl playing with the musket. You know what I'm saying? And Gomani comes in and he's like, and he advises him to come out, so the people can see him, because it's not wide, because Shaka's like, tell him I'm indisposed. And he's like, man, it's not wise, because of the simple fact that that will make people think that it's the whites that won the day, not you. You know what I'm saying? So you need to come out there, basically see your people. But now Gomani is questioning him right now. You know what I'm saying? As he's been doing, and he's like, you know what I'm saying? You've given them land, wealth, the status of kings and chieftains, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot. Because he's telling Shaka what the people think. And then Shaka's like, you know what I'm saying, is it the people that's saying this, or is it you? You know what I'm saying? That's how he feels right now. And he's like, and Goman is like, you give him all these things, and I'm just wondering what are you getting, after all of this, for your generosity. And he's like, you know what I'm saying, because Goman's like, so he feels like he's being bewitched by a handful of jackals. You know what I'm saying? And Shaka says that he's getting the power of that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? The power of that knowledge. That's also in the colonial handbook. You know what I'm saying? The power of that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're getting. Apparently. Like I said, we going down in the colonial handbook. I mean, it's there. You know what I'm saying? You gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now there are different, renditions. You got your French, you know what I'm saying? You got your Spanish, you know what I'm saying? You got your Portuguese, you know what I'm saying? But it's all there. It's all there. It's all there. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But and then Gomani says, I hope that that knowledge is not a pack of lies. You know what I'm saying? Or everything that Shaka's built, will become theirs. And then Shaka, aims the gun at the musket at Gomani and tells him to leave. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And Gomani leaves and whatnot. And then we get to another good scene. Look, the girl is playing her role to the fullest. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because we get some more, we get more Pam Potter. I tell you, we get more of her. And she goes in, and Shaka's like, did Gomani sing you to seduce me? And she's like, no, what? And let's put some respect on this girl's name. I mean, let's just say real dainty voice. Real dainty feminine voice, nice tone, volume, in the voice, you know what I'm talking about. She knows how she know how to, recognize the chief when she see him, what I'm talking about. And, she makes her, her aims, flat out, You know what I'm talking about? She's like, let me love you, Shaka. Let me help you find love. But she's cute. She's so cute. Beautiful smile. Like her smile. That's all she does is smile. That's wonderful. And it's just cute when she says that. And then he says, a man who builds the road to the heavens, must travel alone. And she's like, because he questions her, and she's like, I just want to take away the loneliness or whatever. And, she's so cute. She's so adorable. I think it's all I know, but yeah, you know, and whatnot. Like I said, she look. She ain't playing no games. She ain't being coy. You know what I'm saying, or being She just flat out says what she wants. Message. You know what I'm talking about. And they they do what they do. Say it like that. And as that's happening, one of the white guys is typical. He looks at one of the women, and he has basically second thoughts, and he's like, you look at these girls, and you get you end up loving this country or whatever, and then pop on the Aboriginal Australian, which he says, or dead. Makes it out as a joke. And then we go back to Pampata and Shaka, getting it in. And whatnot, talk about it. Then after that, we get another ending theme, man. We get another ending song. And I actually like the song. I used to always, another thing, I used to rewind it back just for the song itself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a good song. You know what I'm saying? And I love the words. You know what I'm saying? I take you for worse. I take you for better. I just want you to be mine. It's a good song. Like I say, it's a great song. I love it every time I hear it. You know what I'm talking about. And it's at the right part, right part. You know what I'm talking about. So that's the end. You know what I'm talking about. That's the end of episode 8. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to see a love match in this series. You know what I'm talking about. And it's cute. You know what I'm talking about? Because you know what I'm saying. You see, I guess you see there's no rigmarole in the matching up between those two. You know what I'm saying? One really wants to be with that person. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm talking about. And it's cool to see. That's why she's the console. But I mean, hey, mind you, in real life, Shaka had more than one concert. I mean, but they don't say. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the names, but we will get into that a little bit because of next strong. When we basically finish it up, and whatnot, because we're gonna get into children with Shaka and them. But also in this scene, we also see Satai. She's also working the magic behind the scenes. You know what I'm talking about? Because apparently, just like when Shaka was conceived, we got another destined child on our hands. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't go into that, but you see, that part of the spiritual arm working its way through. You know what I'm talking about? Through that whole, relationship. You know what I'm talking about, man. So that's good as well, and interesting to see. You know what I'm saying? because like I say, you see the spiritual arm and the royal arm working together, with different agendas, but they're all one and the same if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like Mkabai, you know what I'm saying? Different agenda, but it goes one and the same with what really needs to happen for the good of the people or whatever, for the good of the nation. You know what I'm talking about? For the good of the nation, you always say it. You know what I'm talking about? And that's how it is. But yeah, man, I mean, look, wonderful costume design. It's not the same, throughout the series, but hey, the costume design for the men, for the women, it's just looking good. You know what I'm talking about? And it's like I say, we keeping it going. You know what I'm talking about? And next week we are going to be on 9 and 10. We wrapping it up, wrapping it up, bruh. And uh, it's gonna be sad to see it go, but hey, hey, it's been fun. So I can't wait. I can't wait to get to the final parts of this series and whatnot. Like I said, we gonna keep it going, keeping it to the south. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I enjoyed 7 and 8. You know what I'm saying? And it's been fun. It's been literally fun. Revisiting this. You know what I'm talking about. I get to revisit some of my favorite scenes. You know what I'm talking about. And rewind them again. Like, let's rewind that again. You know what I'm talking about. But like, let's bring that beat back. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah. So that's all. That's all we got for today. You know what I'm talking about. Real light work. So I give thanks to all y'all for coming out. Much respect. So I will see y'all next strong with 9 and 10. You know what I'm saying? So give thanks, everybody. Like I say, once again, like, subscribe, share, and also link in the description on newlifeglobal.org if you're further interested. You know what I'm talking about. So give thanks, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your strong. Peace.